Hey, it's Weston Hacker here. I got a lot of requests to actually explain a little bit about the whitehole method of blocking a lot of the ransomwares that have the kill switches built into them. So, here you go. So Wanacry and Wanacrypt, I'm going to go over the whitehole protection methods. But this works for the methods with built-in kill switches. So the first two versions that we've seen, and possibly the third version here. So. Okay, so what is Wanacry? Wanacry is ransomware. It is using a wormable exploit that was released in the NSA, or possibly the NSA leaked toolkit, and it basically encrypts your files so you can't use them. What is a kill switch? On Twitter, gentlemen, some people that actually do malware research, they were going through the actual code in IDA and they found URL link, which is basically a web page, and it is once the malware boots up, or the dropper in this case, so the piece of malware that becomes before the infection, it actually looks to see if a web page is registered. And why would they do that? That's because anything that's wormable can get out of control, and they possibly wanted to have a method of stopping infections, depending on how things reacted and just personal reasons behind it. So basically a kill switch is a web page that once registered, the malware quits infecting things. So what is a rainbow table? Rainbow table, if you have ever been in cybersecurity, or I hate that word, but if you have ever done pen testing, you've have rainbow tables of hashes, which are basically generated files that go through every possibility. They're usually text documents that start, for this one example, it starts with 1A, goes to 2A's, and then works through the entire alphabet, and you put how many digits you'd like. So how do you make a rainbow table DNS file? Basically, you generate every possible web page up to 16 letters. You don't have to deal with special characters like you do in a lot of passwords when you're generating a rainbow table for cracking passwords or hashes. Not to mention that most of the examples they've used were lighter digits. They were, 12 to 16 digits. So you didn't have to generate that much. The rainbow table, or the actual file that I created, which is a hosts file, is only 6 gigabytes, which is actually pretty small. You do have to do some modifications, so it doesn't make your internet browsing sluggish. But other than that, it's a pretty susceptible reason to actually, or method to actually block this. So, and then how do you handle real pages? So basically, there is a DNS. There's several DNS servers in the world. Internet service providers have their own copies of them. You can host your own DNS servers. For example, I host one on my domain controller I have in my office. And you can basically compare those pages. So pretty much every web page up to 9 digits is registered, crazily enough. So you can remove all of those ones that are randomly generated, and you can basically take like the Googles, the Yahoos, all the real pages, and take them out of your actual rainbow table, so it won't block them to send them to your page. So what is a hosts file? Hosts files are actually files on your computer that, say for example, if you wanted to redirect a certain web page to another web page, or possibly send it to your loopback address, or your 127.0.0.1 or 000, you can send it to that. And basically this is how a host file works. So say for example, every time somebody goes to bing.com, you want them to go to Google, which is actually a pretty decent method of doing that. So yeah, worked on blanking. That was one of the methods that a lot of people use for actual exploitation of cracked programs, is they'll block the activation service. I'm actually using a Camtasia 30-day trial, but it is something where people have used it in the past to block Adobe, block Camtasia activation. So there are legitimate uses for host files, and there are illegitimate uses. And malware, a lot of the time, will redirect. Anytime somebody goes to an antivirus web page, it'll redirect it back to their pay site and things like that. So, and what is a domain a DNS server, domain name systems? Just please look it up. Yeah, it's very vital for understanding this. But basically, it takes the Google, when you type in www.google.com, and turns it into 8.8.3 or whatever the actual IP address for Google is. So basically, what the kill-all does, it's basically the whitehole method I was talking about, is the it had an embedded URL or web page in the actual malware. It went out and looked for it, and as you can see on the right, it had a ding on line 2233. So several thousand pages into the generated web pages, it actually hit one. So all these pages that are being generated, they're actually, yeah, it's literally generating every single web page that is possible up to a certain digit amount. So yeah, so once it finds that match, it'll actually send it to the 192.163.1.113, which is a server that says that their web page is there, basically. So all of the fake pages that are possible and unregistered pages out in the world will now respond as if they were registered. So that is, in turn, actually activating the kill switch. So, and thanks, yeah, and if you have any questions or comments, please give me some feedback. And I just made this really, really quick. I'm flying to Boston tomorrow. I'm doing an IoT hacking talk. So, yeah, just give me feedback on Twitter. I love constructive criticism. So, yeah, it's better than a guy with a text file, is what I always say. So, a little quick file, or a little quick video. Thanks a lot, and thanks for watching.